Well, welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Tim Miller in for Jerry, who is off this week. We have a very busy show, lots of topics to get to, including Perrysburg schools, how they are doing fighting against the coronavirus and getting kids in the classroom more days than they had. And also, we're going to celebrate Women's History Month with the Toledo Lucas County Public Library. That's all coming up, but we do want to start with the fight against the coronavirus. Are we getting a handle on things? And especially when it comes to vaccinating people. Let's bring in Ben Robison, the Wood County Health Commissioner. Thanks so much, Ben, for joining us. I know things are so busy for you. Do you think we have turned a corner in the fight against the virus at this point?
Yeah, I think we're really encouraged to be seeing a lot fewer cases than what we've seen. We are not out of the woods yet. I know here in Wood County, we had a couple of weeks where our cases went up instead of down. And so this is a reminder that COVID is still with us. We've been encouraged that at least as of this week, our cases are now trending back in the right direction. But until we can get below 50 cases per 100,000, we know these guidelines are going to continue to be with us. So that's the target that we've set here in the state to begin to return to normalcy. And really, once we can drive this disease out of our community, we can really put this pandemic behind us.
So progress being made, numbers are going well. But the worry is that people will start to relax wearing their mask, going out in public, things like that are too close together to others. Is this a situation where if we start to fall back away from these safety measures, we could find those cases going up again?
We could, and not only does that impact us in terms of disease and the threat to our health, but also extends the time that we're dealing with these guidelines. And so what we don't want to do is to let our guard down too soon, because it's kind of like exercise. If you take a day off, you don't have to just do one more day to get back. You have to do 2 days. And so we want to make sure that we don't lose the ground that we've gained. And so as we move forward, we really have to commit to following these guidelines until we can put them fully behind us. And if we wait until then, we're going to find that the pandemic can be set aside as opposed to continuing to be mitigated and sort of limping along for months or weeks beyond what it needs to.
And you had a good analogy that you told me a little while ago. People like to hear sports analogies. How would you characterize if we, take things for granted, what could happen?
Well, yeah, the story that I was sharing with you offline was Super Bowl 27, Dallas Cowboys and Buffalo Bills. And so here we are. We know that we have victory in sight when we're about to win, and we don't want to be Leon Lett, who picked up the fumble, began to showboat before he got to the end zone. And right as he's about to cross the line, he holds the ball out, and out of nowhere comes Don Beebe, who knocks that ball out of his hands, and he doesn't score the touchdown. In this illustration, we are Leon Lett, and Don Beebe is COVID. And so we've got to really keep our head down and keep focused on the goal so that we get across the finish line, get into the end zone, score the 6 points, and then we can move on and enjoy life before this pandemic.
Yeah, then we can celebrate when we've defeated it. Vaccinations, Ben Robison, Wood County Health Commissioner, are you satisfied with the amount your county has received, and are enough people signing up? We know they have the right to say, I don't want to get a vaccine, but do you think you have enough, and are enough people willing to come in, and are they able to figure out how to get registered for one?
Really throughout this vaccine campaign, we've been finding that there's been not enough supply for all of the demand that we've seen. And that's been encouraging because we need everyone to be vaccinated who can be. I've shared with people that here in Wood County, about 20% of our population cannot be vaccinated because they're too young. So no one who is 15 years old or younger has any vaccine options available to them right now. So for everyone who is 16 years old or older, we need about 7 out of 8 of all of those people to get a vaccine if we want to get to that 70% target that we talk about for herd immunity. So we really need a universal uptake of vaccine as much as we possibly can, and have those people who really can't take it for medical reasons or others to be the only ones that are declining that vaccination, because this will help us to keep our kids safe in our broader community. So in the short term, we've been glad that our demand has exceeded our supply, because it means that there's a lot of interest. But as we move forward, we've got to increase that demand as well. What we're hearing from the state of Ohio is that beginning the week of March 29th, which is also the week that coincides with universal availability of vaccine to anyone who is old enough to be vaccinated, we will be getting a substantial increase in supply. So what we're hoping is that will mean a lot more vaccine appointments, a lot more options for people, And that means that you should have an easier time getting your vaccine, or at least more options in terms of getting your vaccine. You're going to be competing with everyone at that point. So you may still have to go a week or two to find an appointment. But as we see this vaccine supply increase, we should be able to move more people through more quickly and get closer to those targets that we hope to have, where people are being vaccinated at a much higher rate.
I have this picture in my mind of yourself and other health commissioners constantly on the phone, calling the state or calling the federal government. Get me more. Can I get more vaccinations? Has that been this process? Has it been a fight every day to make sure enough of your residents can get them?
Yeah, I mean, here in Wood County, we've been saying all along that we need to move about 10,000 doses a week if we want to be done with our vaccine campaign by the summer. And that would be both first and second doses total if we want to get out of this campaign. And we're getting closer to that amount. And that's not just for us as the health department, but across all providers. So we're encouraged that we see more and more pharmacies getting allotments to the federal government. So we're seeing chains like Rite Aid, CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Kroger, Meijer, and others throughout the state getting supplies from the federal government. We at the local level here and for county-specific providers are getting bigger doses too. And you're right, we are clamoring, and we have been clamoring for vaccine all along. And everyone wants to give it to us. So there's no one who doesn't want us to have it, from the governor to the president. Everyone wants us to have this vaccine because this is the best way to secure the gains we've gotten against COVID and to drive this disease out of our communities.
One last question for you, Ben. What is one thing you would like residents of Wood County to do to help you along in this process of beating back against COVID? What's one thing?
Yeah, I really want people to think not just about themselves, but about the broader community. And for you, you might be saying to yourself, I'm not at much risk for severe outcomes from COVID. I don't know if I'm going to get that shot. I don't know if I still need to follow these guidelines. But I want you to sort of think about the people who are still vulnerable in our community and the risk of this pandemic staying with us. So we want people to put others ahead of themselves. And if you can just maintain those guidelines until this pandemic is behind us, seek vaccine and help to build that immunity within all of our communities. That will really help us to be able to wrap this up, and as a whole community to recognize the accomplishments we've made together.
Well, thank you so much, Ben Robison, the Wood County Health Commissioner. I know you're doing a lot of work, long days, I'm sure, but thanks for doing what you are doing to help the public here and keep us safe.
Thank you. Happy to be here, and thanks for all the support from our public and our partners.
For sure. Thanks so much, Ben. And still to come here on Leading Edge, we're going to check in with Tom Hostler of Perrysburg Schools on how they're getting kids back in the classroom more than ever. Stay with us.